Pudge, what time is
It's time for the Chubby Guys podcast.
Woo!
You ready?
I think so.
Hey, we're back.
We're back.
All right.
We're here.
Yes, Tyler, he's back. Tyler, how did you cut your grass this week?
Twice.
You know how many messages I've got? Twice. I've gotten so many messages like, hey, I like to cut grass too.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
You know, you'll
Jimmy
never get that
Jones.
time back, dude.
You can't win. That's a game you cannot win.
Yeah.
And hey, speaking of winners,
Hey, how much money did you make in doing that grass, dude?
None.
Well, you saved yourself $20 probably.
That's right.
I mean, you know,
That's right.
Yeah.
I was mowing in between the rain.
so speaking of winners, Grant Mastin, cheers.
Yes. Cheers. Thanks for
Welcome
coming
to
on.
our first official student that has
Yes.
been on the Chubbies.
I'm honored.
Yes.
Now that we're the
Yeah,
Chubby
yeah.
guys and not the
Yeah,
Chubby
yeah.
bartenders, it
Yeah,
seems a little
yeah.
bit more fitting.
Oh, of course. Yeah, we had him on here when he
Yes.
pulled the winner for his shoe drive, I think last year.
2 years ago. That was 2 years ago, wasn't it?
Hey guys, try thebeardedpup.com. Some of the best men's grooming products available on the market. I'll tell you, I have been a big fan of men's grooming products my entire life. And his post-shave balm is the best that I have ever used in my 48 years. Complete facial moisturizer. You can use it on your arms, face, legs, wherever you want. The cologne at thebeardedpup.com will have your wife all over you. Guys, it's real easy. Just go to thebeardedpup.com, pull out your phone. It's really easy. Very interactive website. You can get on there, order a sample pack of any different product that you may want to try. I am here to tell you, this is Chubby Chad endorsed. I think that it is the best products on the market. Beardedpup.com. Get your phone out and go see it.
Yeah, it was.
That was the first year.
I think it was. Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Not the first year for your tackles for tots, but that was the first year that that was 2 years. It was our first year in the building.
Yeah, it was
In
your
the
first
building,
year.
yeah. They gave away a nice bag from River City there, and it was nice, man.
So yeah, we need to talk about tackles for tots. How many
Yeah.
kids have you helped with that total?
So over the past, I guess we've done for 3 years now. About 600 pairs of shoes have been purchased and donated.
220, 230, something like that.
First year I think was around. It was about 120ish. And then second year it was like a little bit over 200, and then this past year was a little bit closer. I mean, it would be about closer to 300. So
Yeah.
I mean,
so
it's been pretty.
so you actually got better every year with your
it has
tackle
been,
total.
yeah, for sure. It's definitely grown a lot.
And the player got a little better. I mean, more tackles.
More
each year.
tackles.
So more pairs of shoes.
Oh yeah, I guess I didn't really realize that.
Yeah.
I guess.
So Grant, like when we're talking about this, could you tell us a little bit about what tackles for tots is? I mean, a lot of people might not be familiar with it, or how did you come up with this? And
Sorry about my allergies.
how did it go?
guys.
So Tackles for Tots is an organization I started actually with the help of Pudge here.
I didn't do nothing.
He helped me. Don't let him take.
That was all you.
He helped me get it off the ground. That's for sure. He definitely gave me a lot of support through that. But it's an organization where I donate a pair of shoes for every tackle that I have in a season, or at least that's originally how it started. And then, so as I mentioned, like the first year, I had over about 120-ish tackles. So that's how many shoes we donated, and it kind of worked out perfectly. So
That was your sophomore year, wasn't it?
yes,
Yeah.
it was.
Yeah.
So, and it was a pretty good season that year. Definitely can't complain. And I'm always I say this a lot, but it's something that really I hold true. But and so if you go into our locker room, on the wall there's the words "Win for Jackson."
Yeah.
And ever since my freshman year and into my sophomore, every year I've played, every game I've played, it's something I've always wrote on my wrist because something I've held near and dear to my heart. I'm a big person of, you have to have your why, right? So you have to have your why in anything that you do. And I just know how great this community is and how much it supported me. So that was kind of my why. And you can fulfill that on the field, classroom, wherever it may be, but I saw this as an opportunity to fulfill it within my community and give back. So I went full force with it, and 120 pair of shoes that first year. And then, that's when COVID kind of started hitting, was in our sophomore year. So there was a lot of uncertainties over that summer, and then heading even into our season.
you didn't know if you were going to play or how many games.
Right. like thankfully we were allowed to play, but I mean our season was shortened to I think like 7 or 8 games.
Yeah.
And like I mean that was about half a season of what we normally play.
Yeah.
And I know I was still unsure, and there's a lot of like a lot of people were unsure where they were financially, where they were in their life at that time, but I kind of saw that as like I still need to do this, and I need to try to do as much as I can. So I decided to do 2 pairs of shoes that year, and so I had like 75, 80 tackles that year. I think I did 150, 160 pairs of shoes that year,
Nice.
which I was super. It was super touching to me just seeing how many people like reached out and supported me, even not even just in like community, but in my like in Jackson, but even like through the horse show community and such.
Oh, yeah.
I had people from all over the country like reaching out to me and donating by taking spots and such. So then I went ahead and I keep doing it, and I'm even working on ways now to keep it going now that I'm graduating.
Okay, cool.
But and then this past year I decided like why not, let's keep it up with 2 pairs. So I had like 120ish tackles again this year. So we did just over like 200 and some pairs of shoes.
Yeah.
And it's definitely been cool, and just getting those distributed, it's super touching to me. So
He gave shoes to all the kids that we had at the tour drive.
Oh, okay. I was going to say, where do you distribute the
That was
shoes?
his list.
Okay,
So he took care of the shoe need.
Oh, very nice.
So on all those
Okay,
kids, so they would fill out if they wanted a pair of shoes. If they did, then we just gave it to Grant.
That's awesome, man.
And I still work with Jaffe on that too.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's definitely
Because I
kind
got
of
out
cool.
of the toy part, and he kept it going.
Right.
So the last year he did. We didn't work together. He worked just right with Jack.
Oh, that's awesome.
So it's definitely been super cool, and the folks with Jaffe, they're great to work with. They're great people, and they're super supportive throughout it too. So it's definitely great. And like I said, there's some players that have come to me and they've wanted to make a difference too. And even if it might be in a different capacity, we're still kind of working that out and ironing out the details. But definitely look forward to. Looking forward to a different kind of project coming.
Well,
Coming.
you know
soon.
what though, man? That's really cool though. If you leave that legacy where they continue to do that, I mean, that is because it's a great thing.
We had that talk
for
today.
great families. I mean, that's a legacy project, man. I mean, if you started that and you can look back at it in 10 years and they're still doing that, how awesome would that be, man?
Right, and that's what,
and
that's kind of how I look at it too. And like I said, I mean, that's a way to win for Jackson, right?
Sure,
it's more than just playing a game on a Friday night or winning championships and all these different things. Like, there's so many different ways you can do that.
Oh, absolutely.
Oh man, I've always thought that's one reason why Jackson kind of doesn't. What do I want to say? Thrive in certain things is because there's no continuation. It's like once the chairman
leaves.
steps down, it's like they don't go, and it's like man, why does that? I think we could be somewhere.
Yeah, who's going to pick up the torch, right?
Well,
Right.
and not so much that is you have to be working that torch stays burning.
Oh yeah,
Right.
I think any more with people's schedules, it's just tough. And I mean, you and your mom, my God, you guys' schedule. Jesus, you're about like Reynolds.
It's constant.
Yeah.
I think I've been home 2 weekends this whole year.
Man.
So I mean, it's definitely
You've been home 2 weekends this whole year. Now, so you were visiting colleges first. So you're a high school senior. You probably need to tell people.
Right, I am a high school
You're getting
senior.
ready to graduate.
And about a few weeks.
Dude. You ready, dude? I remember this guy. Whenever I went to the Office Commons, you was that was in 2013, and I think you were that was 8 years ago, so you would have been a
really
fourth
young.
grader. Yeah, third
really
or fourth
young.
grader whenever I got there. And you used to
10.
come and just beat on me on the side of the leg and all the time trying to wrestle me. And it's crazy to think that now you're graduating, man.
Yeah.
God, that freaks me out.
It's crazy for me too. And just today, so a lot of our teachers in the past are like, okay, write a letter to your senior self, right? And I got one from 8th grade from Mrs. Wolford's class, and I read it today, and I'm like, I think my 8th grade self would be proud of me right now. Like, I was like, it's kind of wild. It's been 4 years though. Like, it's flown by. Like, it seemed like
that's
yesterday
kind
I
of
was
an awesome
writing
time
it.
capsule there, man.
Right.
To see where your brain was at that time.
I know.
You
It was
probably
really
did
funny.
one of the best jobs that I've seen out of a kid. Well, you and your mom, but I mean, you had a lot of balance. Like you were full go.
Well, I have to give a lot of credit to my mom.
Yeah,
She's definitely helped me develop that skill of like time management. And like she always told me that it's never like she never made me pick and choose something. Like she said, we can do everything. She's like, I have to like give up some things. Like maybe I don't go work out on a Wednesday, but we can make it here. But like she's always told me I never had to pick and choose. Like where there's a will, there's a way, right? So that's definitely been I've definitely been blessed in that aspect of having a mom that's willing.
That's her way
to
of life,
for sure.
You know, I worked side by side with her there for years, and she gets her done.
She does.
She gets her done, boys. Yep.
I don't know how
she's my
sometimes.
Go-to. I don't either. If it wasn't for, I mean, she was one of the key people that helped me, you know, get going. And I mean, she has always just been right there. But whatever you need, Melissa will make that happen.
Right.
It's like, hey, if you want something done, give it to a busy person.
Yeah.
I mean, that's
right.
Yeah.
No,
but so you did the horse shows, and I mean, you know, like I said, you had that great balance. Like, because up until your sophomore year, you were pretty much in everything sports wise. You were, maybe not spring.
I kind of like definitely through middle school and such. I was kind of involved in a lot, and then
were you a 3 sports guy?
I was two through middle school, and then once I got into high school, I backed off. I mean, football is my main focus, and I definitely really dialed into that my freshman and sophomore year.
And horses,
of course. Yeah. Horses have always been important in my life, and they always will be.
And we've got to get to that. But one thing I got to add in the middle of this, I mean, talk about balance. Now, I mean, you're graduating with honors, correct?
Right. I'm a valedictorian. So.
Yeah. So, I mean, talk about time management. I mean, he also did it with like a 4.0. I mean, you know.
Dude, I saw do you remember when I went and I picked you up at practice? Like your mom was busy, and I was like, I'll go get him.
I think that was my sophomore year.
It was.
I want to say that was Berg week because I was dying.
You looked like a wet
and you
rat.
came because I will never forget that week of practice. That might have been the worst like game week of practice of my life. And
he looked about like that tripod.
No, I was
with a shirt.
Oh my!
I was down bad,
and that's whenever I said. That's not where I was going with this, but I remember that's whenever I started talking about your eating.
Yeah, no. Right, maybe that was my freshman year.
You had a Gatorade.
I think it was my freshman year actually because sophomore year I bulked up a lot.
Yeah,
it was definitely my freshman year. Still a bad week of practice.
He had been at Quarter Horse Congress, which no big deal, largest horse show on the globe.
Yeah,
that I know of. Isn't it?
Yeah, it's the largest single breed horse show in the world. So single breed show. Single breed show.
Mention you were the world champion of that show.
Right, I've won it. I think I've won it 4 times now, and I've been reserved.
So he's there on a Tuesday night till you were probably getting home 1, 2 in the morning.
It kind of depends. I mean,
depends on when you show.
Yeah, like some mornings I would ride at 2 in the morning and come back to school. Some nights I'd just go up. Yeah,
okay.
I mean,
and then he was going, and then he would go to school all day, and then he would have football practice. I remember I'll never forget you standing. You were wearing a dark gray shirt. And you
this is getting really detailed.
It is because I could just remember looking at you thinking, my God, he looks like he's about half dead. Yeah, because
Probably.
You were. I mean, you guys was hucking and bucking. But you had a Pop-Tart and a Gatorade that day. Is all you had to eat.
There's definitely been a lot of days like that though, or especially like in August, like flying. Like there's been so many flights back and forth between Columbus and Oklahoma City or Tulsa, just balancing out the world shows but still making it to practice and such.
Yeah, if you want to be a world champion, you just don't go show at the fair.
No,
right.
Which I go to world shows.
Which I also have to give like Coach Hall a lot of credit, and even Jason Prater too, just for working with me with my schedule and allowing me to do all these things. I mean, they've been great to work with.
Very flexible about that.
Paul,
right.
He did a great job with that. A lot of coaches wouldn't have done that.
Right. I know. And, like a lot of people across, like within the horse show community have even given props to that. They're like, there's so many, because I remember my mom, like she made a post about just how great Coach Hall is to work with and such. I can't remember if it was this past summer or summer before last. And I mean, the comments were flooded and the shares were flooded with people like, "This is what coaches need to be doing." Like he was setting, the bar.
That tried to do that, they couldn't.
Right,
probably.
and and I even know with other kids in similar situations that have gone to their coaches and be like, "Okay, this is what Grant's doing in a way." You know what I mean? And it's definitely been helpful for them too.
Oh, I would say.
Well, I don't see how show me one hindrance that it did on you.
Right. I don't I mean, if anything, I think it helped me grow more as a person than it
You're
hurt
going
me at
D1,
all.
dude.
Extreme focus, man.
I mean, let's
Extreme
celebrate.
Focus.
You're going D1.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah, man. I mean, we'll get into that as well.
but he won the world championship right in the middle of football season.
I got to hear about the horse stuff. Let's start where that started.
Ask away. I know.
I know. Like,
everything
where did this start? How did you get into it? Is this a family passion?
It
is this something that
So like, my mom has always, my family has always been involved with horses.
Okay.
And so I started showing when I was younger, and kind of was always in like the sale bars and such. And one of my uncles, like, he's a horse trader, but it kind of progressed, and we started showing, and then we ended up with a horse trainer in Louisville named Tommy Sheets, or New Albany, Indiana, and he really took me to like the next level, and I mean, I won my first world championship.
What are you showing back in? Are you showing pleasure?
I was showing
Trail.
the pleasure. I was showing the trail. At that time I was doing the all around stuff, like during my small fry career. So like I did the trail,
So
pleasure.
explain
Yeah,
what
small fry. What
explain
is that?
Chad will know nothing of this. lingo.
Okay.
Yeah.
Break it down for him.
So there's different categories in which like you can compete. So the small fry is 9 and under.
Okay.
So that's just like walk and trot, or 10 and under in some places. It just depends. And it goes based off your birthday of January 1. So like say you're 9 January 1, you're 9 that whole year.
Okay.
Right. So like that's like your 9 and under, and then you get to your 13 and under, which is where you walk, trot, and lope. And then so that's 13 and under, and then they have 14 to 18. So your youth career goes up into your 18, and then as soon as you're 19, you cross over into an amateur, and then it just progresses through there. But then there's also like open divisions too, so that's where the trainers will show, and the amateur. And then there's like select, which that's older people that are showing. So
Silver sneakers.
When did you win? Yeah. When did you win your first world championship?
I want to say
4th grade, 5th grade.
I want to say it was somewhere like around like 2012-ish in that area.
Okay.
I can't remember exactly off the top of my head. It was pretty early on. I won my first world
How old were you?
championship.
8, 9.
I was really young. It was on Slow Loop in Louis. I know that.
Yeah.
So he was a pretty special horse, and he definitely made it. Like, he definitely is one of those horses that really propelled my career. I definitely was blessed with a lot of great horses before then, but he was one that was like really special. And then so I won. So I won my first big my big first show that like I won really was the Dixie Nationals, when it used to be like huge. I mean, I think there's like 6 splits of the small fry pleasure. Like, it was humongous. But and then so I won my first world championship, and since then I've won, I don't even know how many reserve and world championships, but it's definitely been great experience. I have a great horse right now that, I mean, he's super special.
What's
and,
his name, Gus?
Carl.
Carl.
Yeah.
Sweet name.
Yeah. He's but yeah, he's a great horse. His name, show name's Handmade Machine, but I mean, I've won 4 world championships on him, I think. I've won the Congress twice on him, been reserve a few times on him at the Congress, been reserve a few times at the World Show, maybe 5 times with him. And then like he's won the open trail at this, like the senior trail at the NSBA World, was 3rd in the senior trail at the AQHA World.
This guy has won so many times that he can't even remember how many wins he's got.
Yeah.
Man.
Well, he's talking about the horse.
Well, I'm just talking about the horse too. But it's definitely been a special career. Like, I can't
for both of you.
But I've had a lot of great mentors, great horse trainers in all aspects that have developed me, not only as a horseman or as a showman, but also as a person. And definitely a lot of the things that I've learned have carried over throughout my life. Like, for example, with the trail, just the way you have to calculate a plan. Like, it's no different than if you're sitting in a room watching your film, getting ready for a football game.
Yeah, right.
So it's just like you learn how to think ahead, if that makes sense, but be in the moment. So like in the trail, like you have to stay in that obstacle, but you can't think ahead to the but you have to be thinking ahead to the next obstacle while still being in there. So it's no different than being like, fourth and goal.
Translates very well, doesn't it?
Yeah, with the game on the line.
Yeah.
And you're thinking, okay, they could be doing this, but I have to watch for this. That that kind of situation. You definitely you have to be present, but you have to think ahead. And I definitely think it's helped me tremendously on the football field because it's giving me that mental advantage over understanding that quarterback might make that make a little step before he snaps the ball, or that guard is leaning a certain way, or he looks where he's going to pull. Just little hints that people will kind of overlook. Right. But I mean, it'll tell you the whole play.
And you attribute a lot of that to your writing.
I do. I truly do.
The horse world and the sports world are very similar in the fact that the levels.
Right.
If you just stay local, that's where you're going to be.
It's good, but it's not going.
You get up and you start competing at like that level he did. I mean, everybody's dialed in.
Yeah.
They all, they're all 7 days a week, and like we've talked about several times, if you want to be pro.
Oh yeah,
you got to work.
Oh yeah, there ain't any doubt about it.
I mean, you got to work at it.
Yeah, there ain't any doubt about it. So this we're kind of blending all of this together. Successful football career, successful student, successful in the horse realm. Where does the horse realm go now that you graduate, man?
Yeah, I've been wanting to ask you about that because you. So now in this sport, not to cut you off, but in this sport. There is no men's equine scholarships or teams, right?
Right. Well, right. So for like the equine industry, so they have like the Division I, right? And there's a set of schools that's NCAA approved, right? But for NCAA, it's it's women's sport.
Okay. Yeah.
So right.
Probably got that going.
So it's definitely
what is it?
Title IX. It's distribution of money at their level where there's got to be an equal opportunity for female athletes and male athletes as far as scholarship offerings and everything like that.
I don't know.
Yeah.
There's a lot to the Title IX deal, but so like for the women, it's a women's sports basically. So I mean, for me personally, I'll still always be involved with it. I'm definitely not going to be. Well, I mean
you're going to Fort Worth.
We'll still be having horses go down the road. That's for sure.
Yeah. So you're still gonna own a horse,
right? So we'll my mom and I have already talked about this. We're even kind of planning for the future, but we'll definitely still have horses going down the road. It might be in a different capacity than what we're doing now, or definitely will be. I mean, I won't be able to go show as much. I mean, maybe every now and then, but so definitely still I will always stay involved and For me personally, my role is definitely going to change. So currently I serve as a national director for the American Quarter Horse Youth Association and work with the public policy committee on that. And I've found a great interest. So I found a great interest with that.
Yeah.
And it's definitely driven me to future career goals in a way.
Sure.
So I definitely still want to stay involved with the horse industry, but it might be working with policy or working as an advocate or being a director.
Sure.
in that aspect, if that makes sense what I'm saying.
Right.
Makes a lot of sense.
Right. And I mean, hey, who's to say when you graduate from college or whatever, maybe you get back into showing again.
Right, for sure.
But then it'll be basically you'll be an amateur.
I will be an amateur.
Yeah, you'd step in and then you hit a certain money level and then you turn into what, non-pro?
Well, so there is you do have your non-pros. So non-pros amateur down, and then I mean, there's so many different divisions.
15 and under, 15K.
Well, there's the limited, and I know for the reiners and such, and the cow horse people, it's different than our side of the industry. But I mean, there's still different levels. It depends. If it's a fraternity that you're showing at, where you're showing for money. I mean, can be different variations of that, but I mean, there's a lot that goes into it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, that's a crazy world, dude.
Oh, it is. It's kind of unreal sometimes.
You ever been to Congress, Chad?
No.
I ought to take you to Quarter Horse Congress.
You need to go one day and just you like
kind of like if you know, right? Like,
you'll see it. I mean, as soon as you
just have to experience
you just have to experience it. And I mean, you don't even have to be a horse guy,
right?
I mean, you just,
but you can appreciate it.
Yeah.
And even those horses, they're athletes. Like they're not just a horse that's out in the field. Like,
no,
I mean, the way they get taken care of is so far beyond even how we even take care of our own bodies. I mean, they constantly.
Has Carl ever even seen outside?
I mean, yeah, he gets turned out every day.
Okay,
but he has his own pasture. Like, that type of thing. But
Carl's living a pretty good life.
There's many of them that never see pasture.
It's all relative to who the horse trainer is and what
their
they do.
sport is and how they're moving.
It's just kind of all relative. But I mean, for us, I mean, we think it's so important to still let them be a horse. Like, I mean, they need grass and they need the sunshine and they need to be out because I mean that's what keeps them happy. And they're not going to perform if they're not happy. Like, they're not going to love doing their jobs. And I can say with Ryan and Mandy, I mean, all of their horses love performing. And I mean, when it's show day, I mean, they're locked in. But they know when it's time to be a horse, but they also know when it's time to be serious too. So,
well, what is the average career span of a horse?
It varies. It just depends on the horse. And
the horses are weird. It's like if they live past 22, they're probably going to live to be 34.
Their longevity.
No, I don't mean like direct numbers, but it's
you're just
that's pretty good.
So, 22 is kind of like is that like the average lifespan of a horse?
I mean, it just varies per horse. I mean, and it just it really
years old or 30.
Yeah, I mean they're animals at the end of the day. Still, I mean, you can't control. I mean, how long they live, and there's so many different factors that go into it. But I mean, there's horses that are living until they're, late into the 30s. But I mean, there's some that unfortunately pass when they're yearlings. Like, it just is all. Yeah, it's all relative.
That's got to be the toughest part of the business.
The bloodlines are everything. I mean, it's just. I mean, that not everything. I mean, you got to have a good trainer. You got. Sure. You have. I mean, everything
but
has to be worked.
But you got to start
up
with a good bloodline, probably.
Yeah, I mean that's just whenever you start competing at that high level, you're starting to see a lot of familiar names.
I mean, yes, but I mean, a great horse is a great horse.
Yeah, I don't want to discredit one that doesn't have a last name, but at the same time,
right. I mean,
they're few and far between.
A great horse is a great horse, and there's so many new sires that are on the rise that are definitely going to be great producers. And I mean, they're currently out showing and getting their name out there, but I mean, they're going to have some great babies. So it'll be interesting to see how the industry progresses throughout the years. Because I mean, even for me, just in my, short span, that's relative to others around me. Right. I mean, it's changed tremendously. So I mean. Just from the way you show them to the way you prepare them to the way you take care of them. I mean,
the look,
everything just changes so much. And I mean, that's also what I like about the industry, though, is that everything is constantly changing. Like, you never, I mean, for me personally, I'm never burnt out on it because there's always something to get better at. There's always something that you may want to change, or there might be something you want to keep, and you just keep constantly building. Like, no matter where you are. I mean, you could come straight off of a world championship and you could look at that run and be like, well, I could have fixed those trot maneuvers, or maybe I could have put him in a better spot here. And you just, that's true for life though.
Oh yeah, sure.
I mean, you could go win the Super Bowl and you go watch film and there'd be 20 different things that you have to fix, right? Yeah. But but you still won the Super Bowl. So I mean, that's how it is, right? Yeah. I mean, so I definitely think that's another way that the horses correlate with life. And just competing on that stage in front of a wide variety of people. I mean, you have so many people that tune into live streams and they're just there and such, and you're competing on a high level. I mean, when I'm playing an alumni on a Friday night and it's sold out, I mean, you get excited for those things. You don't start worrying. Like, you get really pumped up. Right, and I think in some people that don't really necessarily are constantly in that environment, I mean, they might look and be like, there's so many people here. Yeah. But I mean, but when I walk out there, I'm inviting it in a way. You know what I mean?
Like, you fed off of it.
I'm inviting that energy to come in.
Yeah.
You'd go down the hallway at the office and you could just hear his mom, she would usually have a live stream going of a horse show all the time. You know, it's a huge.
It's
industry.
a lifestyle. It's a lifestyle.
It is. I'm on my way out of it, I believe, but I wish you really enjoy it. So you need to keep doing it.
I love it.
Yeah, and you and your mom do it together, and I'm staying in it with my dad. You know, but
and there's so many different aspects of it, and I don't think people realize that. Even like, so just because you're showing doesn't mean you're not involved. Like, there's so many different ways. I mean, even just with AQHA alone, with the racing experiences that people can have, or the horseback riding opportunities, like there's so many, or the ranch horse stuff. Like, there's so many different areas where people can become involved. And like, you don't even realize that you're involved until you're like fully fledged into it. You know what I mean?
How many of your peers in the horse business, I've never asked you this, do you think are like high school? I mean, especially these high schools, or high school athletes?
I mean, it kind of varies, because some, like,
how many did you show against at the World? How many kids were in your class at the World show?
So for the trail, there's over like 120 or something like that. I mean,
okay, so out of 120, how many of those kids are into athletics?
Okay, so this is a question you really have to look at, though, because for a lot of those girls, that is their sport. I mean, that's what they're going to college for.
Yeah,
that's what they're getting a scholarship for. That's what they're getting paid for.
Boys.
I mean, it kind of varies in that way. I mean, some are going to go on and go be horse trainers. Some might go on and be doctors. Some might go be a lawyer.
Veterinarian, whatever.
It just, like, it varies. So I don't know that there's a set number that you can just say.
I'm
because
just saying, if you had to guess, like, how many of them are doing what you're doing?
I mean,
because Chad and I being the reason I'm asking you this, our kids, and there's always this thing, that there's so many options for these kids. Yeah. Well, you're the only one that I've ever seen that's been able to do them both. Right.
Yeah, like I'd always thought, like, okay, in my mind, like a lot of these, there's a lot of travel associated with what you did there. I mean, I've thought of that as like, man, that's something where they even might have like a tutor or online schooling or something. Because
which there are people that have that.
Beth did. Beth kind of did.
Really?
Like, kind of.
Like, there's people that, I mean, there's a lot of people that they'll homeschool, or they'll have tutors, like,
because
that they
of the
go
time
to.
commitment, right?
Right. And like I said, there's so many that's their sport, and that's what they're getting paid to do basically once they get to college. Yeah. So, I mean, they're honing in on their skills, and they're getting better.
It that much more.
My God, as a parent of an 8-year-old with a family and moving through life, the best thing I ever did was download the McDonald's app. What a breeze. Order for your family. Pull up. They bring it to you. Easy. Download the app today from McDonald's.
Hey, do you want to help develop your child's athletic ability? Or maybe you want to get off the couch and make yourself a little bit better? They earn the day at AP Prep. Look them up. apprep.info. We're amazing that you're a high-level football player and a high-level.
No, he's not a high level. He's the highest.
Yeah, the highest level.
I want to go that far.
You're the highest level in your game.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, are you the Tom Brady of the youth world trail?
I want to go that far.
I will
not
still.
At all.
The GOAT.
Not at all. I wouldn't say the GOAT.
Roll with it, son.
I wouldn't say that. There's a lot of great competitors out there. A lot of people that are my friends that, I mean, they all do such a great job. And, with the trail, for example, even the Western riding, one wrong step can knock you out. So it's anybody's day. Like,
one step
can make or break your go. So, I mean, it's anyone's ball game anytime you step into that arena.
Do you develop a camaraderie with those that you compete against, or is it cutthroat? Like, is it?
I mean, I wouldn't say it's
there's
cutthroat.
drama, but it's not cutthroat.
Okay.
I don't. I mean, for me personally, I don't like getting into the drama.
You don't.
I
do a great job.
I'm just friends with everybody, and I've developed a lot of great friendships through it, and like, I don't know. I'm just there to have a good time.
Yeah, you're not there to trash talk people.
I mean, no, I'm not out there trash talking.
Grant's anti-drama. Like, there would be, how like you see these stories, come out of schools, and I'd be like, Grant, what's going on? And be like, I don't know.
And in all seriousness, and I don't know, like, it might not seem like this, but I'm I don't want attention. You know what I mean? Like, I don't like attention. Like, I like going in and doing my job.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I just am not a person that really likes
all eyes on you.
I mean, I don't mind. Like, I don't mind going in there and competing in front of a bunch of people, but I mean, just like getting involved with different things like that, like, like keep that away from me, like very to myself, like in that sense, if that makes like
sure it does.
Yeah. But going back to that horse thing, I don't think enough parents possibly explore that world, not because they can't, just because it's a hard egg to crack, man. That's to jump in that horse world.
It's difficult.
But they have some of the. I mean, like we really have some. Like you talk about resources.
Oh, with Henderson's.
With Henderson's being in our backyard right here, and I mean, even how handy has that been for you? And you really don't do anything that's local.
I mean, but it's still a great way for people to become involved, and there's a lot of different. Even just within Ohio alone, there's a lot of different horse shows and associations which people can get involved with. I know they have a lot of shows at Springfield, whether it be with the quarter horses or like with the reiners and such. That
they don't do much
people
cow
go.
stuff.
I mean, I don't think they. I mean, I think they have a little bit, but I mean, there's still the best series that goes all over Ohio. That's for cattle, and there's a variety of, there's shows. You just have to kind of search for them. But, I mean, with any livestock, I mean, it's so easy for people to get involved.
Well, there's another one.
Yeah.
I forgot all about this.
About the lambs and the goats.
The lambs and the goats.
Oh, my goodness. He's a lamb and goat guy, too.
Champion.
Oh, of course. He's like, I'm not even going to do it if I can't win.
We don't do. I have to say, I'm a pretty competitive person. So anytime I go,
Forgot all about it.
anytime I go to do anything, I'm definitely.
You're
I'm
in it to
definitely.
win it. Yeah.
Oh yeah, I'm definitely showing up to win. Like I don't. I can't say I don't do things half-heartedly sometimes.
Yeah.
But I do what I need to do to get the job done. If that makes sense, what I'm saying.
I mean, seriously, you're going to look back. I mean, I would almost hate to be your child one of these days.
I don't know about
because,
that.
look, I want you to just seriously just sit there and think about that.
Yeah.
So he and I we have our sons about the same age, little difference, but think about if they were now. You're busy. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
You're very busy.
Yeah.
You're busier than I am.
Yeah.
But can you imagine now all that?
No.
Think about that.
No.
That is crazy.
Yeah.
I mean,
this man has done more before the age of 18 than I'll likely do before I retire.
I don't know about all that.
I mean, my God.
yeah, I mean, that's pretty.
I've been pretty blessed though. That's for sure. I've definitely been super blessed.
Yeah, and I mean, you guys do not sit around. You and your mom, you guys just constantly stay at it, man.
I'm not gonna lie, I don't mind just stopping every now and then.
Yeah.
But I mean, but I don't really know how to stop, if that makes sense.
That's right. That's
like
what you
when I do
use.
get downtime, like I mean, I might enjoy it for a day or two, but I can't just.
Hey, are you a business owner looking for insurance coverage? Give this guy a call. You know him. You trust him. Jason Gillum, Gillum Insurance, 740-395-0190.
Hey guys, on behalf of the Chubbies, huge thanks to Geiger Brothers Construction. Give them a call at 740-286-0800. They've been great community supporters, and they are a friend of the Chubby program, so thank you, Geiger Brothers Construction.
I'm not one that's like able to just sit around and do nothing.
Well, I saw you over there right after the season. You were at AP Prep, right back at it.
Right, which I did take some time off there, just to kind of get a plan. And it was a pretty long season. It was a pretty brutal season. I think that's one of the toughest schedules.
Oh man,
our teams played, and I don't even know how many years.
A long time.
That was a really tough schedule.
So now you're getting ready to go into D1. Right, TCU.
Right.
I guess I said it, not you this time. But so what is what's the plan now going? Because I really haven't got a chance to talk to you since I left the Commons.
So I've been given the opportunity to go to TCU. I'd be going as a walk-on, but I mean I have school paid for with academics, so it's definitely like a win-win. And
sure.
I mean I'll start school in August, so I'm looking forward to that next chapter of my life. It'll definitely be different. My plan right now is to undergrad in finance on a pre-law track. My ultimate goal is to work as a lobbyist, as I kind of mentioned earlier, being involved with like the horse industry or the ag industry. But I mean, things change, especially over the next 4 to 7 years.
Learn a lot about yourself, probably.
Right, and there's going to be a lot of different opportunities and people that I meet.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I'm not trying to like really pinpoint.
Yeah, you're
where
not
I'm
hard
going,
tracking it, but that's what you gotta in
I've
mind.
got an idea. I really enjoy working with policy and working in politics and such. And I think as like a lobbyist, I can still make a difference, but I don't have to be a politician, if that makes sense.
Sure,
like
sure,
I don't.
absolutely.
I've always seen you as like honestly, I've seen the kid like a president.
Yeah, yeah.
Like,
well, but he says he doesn't like drama.
I know, but that's true. I can see it, Grant. I think you're headed for it.
I don't know. I mean, people say that sometimes, but I just don't know.
I think you'll at least start off on like a state level.
Right. I definitely think it'd be cool to, work in that capacity, but I really just see kind of lobbying as, I guess, my calling in a way, or at least as right now, just because
you're kind of a salesman.
you can kind of like, you're still working with that legislation, and you're still making a difference for something that you care about, right?
Something that
like
means
you
something
have,
to you.
it means something to me. Like you don't have to worry about keeping constituents happy.
Right.
Working as a lobbyist, you just have to worry about who you're working for. In that
you get
sense,
to choose
you know
that.
what I mean?
Yeah,
you get,
and that's really cool.
And that's kind of that's drawn me to it. But it's really just making a difference part.
Sure.
And even like there's so many different ways to be involved.
Oh my!
And that's what I'm really, really looking forward to.
So you're leaving in August. When do you got to check in? Like when that they didn't start that till before August?
I mean, I'd move into Texas in August, so that's kind of where I am right now with it. So
the football and stuff, they'll probably start sending you stuff midsummer. You probably don't know yet.
Right. It's just we're kind of just it's still definitely up. Like we're still like discussing those details in a way.
So you got 100% paid scholarship on athletics.
No, academics.
Academics.
I have
academics.
I have academics. So I have.
That's what I meant.
So I've got full tuition at TCU with academics, and then
awesome.
I've gotten other like outside scholarships too that help cover like room and board. So awesome. If I do have a cost, it's little to nothing.
You're getting
for a great education too.
Oh.
So I'm definitely
did
blessed.
you immediately fall in love with TCU, or like was it a tough decision, or
so like,
have you been under stress the last 8 months?
Oh, so much. Yeah. And I'm kind of finally like getting relieved from it.
Like, all right,
that I finally made a decision.
You seem much more stressed. You seem much more like happy now compared to the last time I saw you.
I don't know. I've still been. I've kind of the senior year. Like, for some people they kind of like take it off, but it's definitely something where I've still been like hammered down through it.
Right.
So, but okay. Back to your question though, with like, did I immediately fall in love? It's definitely kind of a tough decision. So like starting off like maybe like 8th grade freshman year. TCU was a school that I was like, I really want to be
always
here.
in your mind,
and I really want to go there. But then as like things progressed, my recruiting process, progressed. I talked to different coaches, got to see different schools, went to other places. Then I'm like, it kind of, I don't know. It kind of like it was always there, but it wasn't as prominent. Yeah. And then, over like and then as I was applying to schools, like I'm like, okay, like I really like the school, but I don't know, like there's so many different great opportunities, right? And then I was presented with the opportunities that I had. The coaching staff there is great, the people that are there are great, and the opportunities that come from being a TCU student. Like I went down there and a few months ago for the first time, like officially, like in my senior year. And they sold me. Like
it had the right feel,
right?
The right culture, right everything. Yeah,
and like they're very global with their thinking, and they're like, so we have the Dallas-Fort Worth area right here in our backyard where you can excel and everything, but we have so many more opportunities for you elsewhere throughout the country, throughout the globe, and I'm like, this is such a great opportunity. And like, we've had people go on to work here. We've had people go get their masters here. We've had people do this or do that. And, they had brought in guest speakers, and I'm like, I want to be one of those people. Like, they really sold me on the whole experience. And I'm like, and then, the whole football piece came around, and I'm like, I don't know how I can turn this down. It's all great opportunities for me to kind of, take advantage of.
Oh, heck yeah, man.
So I definitely think it's been a God thing, because it was something that kind of went away, but I mean, everything comes full circle, and I believe everything happens for a reason, right? Sure. So, I mean, it's definitely been a tough couple years, just even like dealing with COVID and recruiting didn't go like the way I envisioned.
Oh my goodness!
Like
you basically lost a very critical year,
right,
in football recruiting as
so many different ways.
Yeah, and like the recruiters weren't able to leave their campuses,
right, and we couldn't go to campuses, and our season was shortened to just league games, and like that definitely was a hard year. And then even with people getting their extra COVID years, really shrunk our numbers for the class of 22, right? Tough. So it definitely like just working with all of that. It definitely didn't go as I planned, but I think there's, like I said, I think there's a reason for everything happening.
Well, but and here's the other thing I think that you got to look at, and if you want to send a message to young kids, man, it's like, you went through this COVID thing, and there's a big scholarship restriction and all this stuff. Well, guess what, man? You made it real easy for TCU because your grades are outstanding,
right?
And you can go
his community projects,
and they just got a football player because he was smart enough to get all these academic scholarships.
Well, and I think that's like,
I mean, and that's great.
And I think it's kind of put me in the best case scenario too, and like put me in a good position personally. But I mean, you definitely still have to take care of yourself in the classroom because I mean, football can only take you so far. So whether that's playing through high school, playing through college, I mean, even in the pros, I mean, their short careers, their careers aren't guaranteed. They're not guaranteed to be a Tom Brady and be there for 20 years.
No.
So I mean, you definitely have to have a plan, and so like you definitely have to take other things into consideration, such as working within your community, or maybe taking the extra class, or I mean, there's so many different ways, or being involved in that extracurricular that is going to help set you apart so much better in the future than just being a football player.
The message that I think needs to be pounded into some of our young guys, like my kids' age, is like, look, man, when you're in class, take advantage of the opportunity that you have when you're in there.
Right.
I mean, what the hell else do you have to do? Sit there and do what the teacher asks you to do. Go home, do the right thing because it's the right thing to do, and be a good student.
Right. And
good things will happen.
Yeah. Right.
I mean,
agree. And there's so many, like, people will be like, well, who's your favorite? Like, there's been a lot of like, who's your favorite teacher? Like different questions like that. And, I think about it and I go back and I can say I've been blessed with great teachers throughout. Like Jackson definitely does a great job of blessing us with really good teachers. And I think that's crucial. But just taking care of your business and doing your work, and they're willing to help you. Yeah, if you go and ask, they're willing to help you. So if it's okay to not understand something. I mean, I don't understand things all the time, but you just have to make that extra effort to maybe stay after class one day or stay after school one day, or even just go in early and say, hey, like, I really need you to help me with this subject. And they're more than likely going to say, I'll gladly help you and come in anytime. You know what I mean? And it's just not being afraid to like be different. I mean, I think too many people are afraid to be different.
Absolutely. You will reap what you sow, man.
Right.
I mean, if you have the courage to say, hey, I don't understand that, help me. I mean, what teacher is not going to be thrilled to death with a kid that's willing to go the extra mile and come in there and say, hey, man, I don't get it.
And that might even help you. And it might help you later on. Say you have like a 93.2 and you need that 93.5 for an A. Yeah. I mean, you might get an extra point or two on a test. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that kid was here at 7 o'clock.
Or you might get an extra, like they might say, well, here's another grade that we're going to do. That might give you just enough. I mean, just little effort can make such a big difference in the grand scheme of things.
They want you to win.
Right.
I mean,
for sure.
When you root for people that work hard. I mean,
you have to. I mean, I agree.
Yeah, well, man, I'll tell you, congratulations. Our show is excited to watch you progress.
I appreciate it.
I mean,
you and I've been close for several years, man.
Right.
I'm so proud of you, man.
I appreciate it. You've helped me out a lot.
Well,
that's
I
for sure.
Done anything. You've helped me, if anything.
I'm glad.
But your mom and I mean, I wish I had her potion or what. I wish I knew what she did.
She's special. That's for sure.
Because I mean, how would you like to be the parent of that gentleman right there?
You'd be feeling like you maybe did something right.
I mean, look at everything he's done, and I mean, I told you even here a few months ago. I didn't really tell you this, but I think you knew what I was saying whenever I said, hey, you're going to be fine no matter what you decide to do, sports wise. You know, I mean, Grant's a kid that's he's going to tear it up no matter what.
Oh heck yeah, he's proven it.
He's proven it. So I mean, it's going to be really special, man, to see where you end up.
Well, I appreciate that.
I can't wait to see it. It's don't forget about us whenever you're running.
Man.
Whenever you're running the country. I mean,
yeah. Remember your old buddies.
How could I? I'm definitely gonna have to get like a hat or something to keep remembering.
Oh yeah,
maybe get some autographs.
Care package.
Maybe get some autographs or something like that.
You got any goals this summer? What are you gonna try to get done this summer?
Goals this summer. Summer's busy. Yeah. I mean, my summer is already booked, and we haven't even got there yet. So I'm definitely looking forward to that. Still a lot of traveling. Going, I don't know. I'm looking forward to it. It's definitely going to be a lot of fun. And
Fort Worth's going to be cool for you, too.
Fort Worth is awesome.
How far are you from the stockyards?
Like 10 minutes.
Really?
It's awesome. Yeah.
You ever been in there? You've been to Fort Worth stockyards? I've never been.
Well, you need to come down.
Yeah.
There's so many great restaurants, so many great things to do. And, it's a pretty lively place, but it's awesome. And Fort Worth, the city is great.
Yeah.
And one thing I really liked about TCU was campus is campus, but you can be anywhere you want in 10, 20 minutes.
Yeah.
And you have the city, you have the stockyards, you have all these different little areas. I mean, it's a cool place.
Yeah.
And you still get the big city feel, but you also feel like you're at home.
Oh, sure.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, I've never been to Fort Worth. I spent a lot of time in Houston and Galveston, but I don't go. That's pretty good ways away, isn't it?
Yeah,
I was trying to look today.
I think they're definitely a few hours. They're a few hours apart.
Everything
I don't know.
Texas is a few hours.
Yeah. But
That's
Dallas Fort Worth is 45 minutes. So you can be. You can be anywhere in that region no time. It seems like so.
Yeah, Dallas and Fort Worth almost feel like kind of the same,
right? Because you have Dallas here and Fort Worth here, and then you've got Arlington, I guess it'd be
Arlington, where the Cowboys
the Cowboys and the Rangers are right there, and there's so much to do
right there.
Yeah, for sure.
So you'll have your Texas feel, but your the comfort of the or the what do you call it?
I love it that you're going away, dude. I think that's great, and the world is so small now, man.
Right? It really is.
You can FaceTime or do whatever.
Yeah.
Can be home.
We're going to tell you the
2-hour
you got to fly. Yeah,
right.
That's one thing I'd like to see out of Gibson. I'd like to see him go somewhere.
Yeah, dude. It's a great experience in my opinion.
Get out of here for a little while.
Yeah, or go to a bigger city. I don't care where you go.
It doesn't have to be a city. Just somewhere.
Sure. I think it'd be cool.
I think what's important is just finding a place where you're comfortable and you feel at home.
Absolutely.
There's so many great. There's great opportunities around us, but you just have to find a place where your niche.
And I feel like you know it when you walk on there.
Right. No, that's definitely true.
You get there and you think, yep, this is going to be the one.
I agree.
You got buddies already there, don't you?
Oh, yeah. I have a lot of friends that are there on the equestrian team, and even just people that are there just as students. So it's definitely been... It's kind of it's definitely been a God thing in a way, but it definitely pulls it all together. So
that's great, man.
Buddy, that's all I got.
That's all I got, Grant.
Well, I appreciate y'all having me on.
Yeah, best of luck.
Cheers, man.
And we look forward to watching you. I'm sure we'll get you back on.
I want you back after your first.
We'll need updates.
Right,
I want you back after your first year of college. I want to see.
All right, that sounds good.
Yeah,
I'll gladly come on. I'll gladly support the Chubbies.
Support the Chubbies. We'll have you some trunks.
Sounds good.
All right.
I like that.
Hit that like and subscribe.
See ya.